Let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and a very tense conversation. We've got 3 clips here where Elon Musk is talking about something that you can tell is starting to worry him. And it's the constant threats to his life that seem to be happening because of what he's doing with DOGE, which is very, very interesting because those threats are not coming from powerful people that we know of, but they're coming from the public. So I'm going to be showing you the clips with Elon and Joe, and then I'm going to show you a bunch of rallies and things that are going on. I think something like Elon derangement syndrome has started to develop throughout the world. Let's start with the Joe Rogan stuff, and then we'll jump over to a bunch of other stuff. Even some Osmond Gold stuff. Stay tuned.
They're not going to enable it such that anyone at the FBI could access it. So there's probably very few people. So then it's not going to be, it may be like a special computer that only a handful of people can access. But then if none of those people tell Cash where the computer is, how's he going to find it?
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, we just, I don't know.
What has this experience been like for you as a person? Like to deal with all this hate and attack, also have the responsibility of keeping free speech alive with X, and just going into this insane pile of...
It's stressful. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty stressful, actually.
Yeah, these are real enemies.
Like, I think they actually want to kill me. And the reason I know this, well, they say so online. There's like Reddit forums where they don't just want to kill me, they want to desecrate my corpse, type of thing,
What are they saying? Why? What is the primary?
I mean, I think it's sort of just an antibody response. I mean, it's like they're like, well, he's a Nazi, type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not a Nazi, but if the legacy media is saying that I'm a Nazi, and that's all you read, then you're kind of in like, well, he's Hitler. We should assassinate Hitler, shouldn't we? Like, I mean, why did that guy try to kill Trump and almost succeeded? Why did he do that?
Well, I'd like to know that.
Well, yeah, but
that one's crazy. You know the whole deal with that guy's house, professionally scrubbed, no footprint on the internet, no social media footprint.
Yeah, there's 0% chance that he has no social media footprint.
He was in a BlackRock commercial.
For the next few minutes, as that clip rolls, they just start, at that part of the podcast, they just start talking about him. Joe completely just derails the conversation from Elon Musk trying to open up about being very, very stressed out that people want to kill him. And Joe just starts talking about Trump's first assassination attempt. Like this, it's absolutely amazing. It's like, bro. Your friend is saying that he's really nervous that people are out to hurt him. You might want to just listen. That is the same type of faux pas. If you guys are Rogan listeners like I'm a Rogan listener, you guys remember the first time Joe Rogan sat down with Elon Musk, and Elon got real silent at one point and he said, "You wouldn't want to be me." And then Joe just changed the subject completely, and everybody was like, oh, he was about to go into something. Here, let me play the next clip. Let's go.
They'll say they're doing it for their family. They're doing it for their kids.
Well, especially if it's legal, and it currently is. You kind of be silly to not do that. If you were a part of a group of people that's passing a bill, and you know this bill's going to get passed, you know the votes are there, and you know it's going to affect this industry and this particular manufacturer, and you can buy stock.
It's more than just insider trading. Like the insider trading stuff, like the stock portfolio stuff is quite trackable, but there's, it's a lot more than insider trading.
The way they're acquiring wealth.
Correct.
And what other methods?
I mean, this is really going to get me assassinated. It's like I'm not lengthening my lifespan by explaining this stuff, to say the least. I mean, I was supposed to go back to DC. How am I going to survive? This fucker's going to kill me. In fact, I do think like it's like I actually have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff because it's going to get me killed. You know, yeah, you know, it's like I was actually thinking about that on the plane flight over here. It's like if I push too hard on the corruption stuff, people get desperate. Is the issue,
Right?
Then they say like, okay, if the money flow cuts off, then okay, they can't afford school for their kids.
Right.
Then they're like, well, fuck you, I'm going to kill you for my kids, type
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
You know, then it's like, oh, geez, okay.
Did you ever see that video? I think it was an O'Keefe video where they've got this guy undercover and he's explaining. They're talking to this guy. He thinks he's on a date, and he's explaining. It's always a guy on a date.
Yeah.
Explaining how they can nudge someone to go and do something horrible, and they recognize this person has problems. They find an asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, this is what I.
All right, let me go to the last clip here where they talk about this whole thing. It's wild about how nervous he is. This is a guy that handles massive pressure. I mean, I run 2 YouTube channels and I have another business aside from YouTube altogether. And it's tremendously stressful for me. I could only imagine what this guy's going through.
High score in his SATs.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well,
yeah.
without getting you killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get
So
out
I
of
mean,
here.
like basically, I'm like, listen,
I get it.
Well, attack the corruption enough to keep civilization trucking along, you know.
Yeah.
But I think if I fully destroy the corruption and the graft, they will kill me.
That's a fucked up thing to live with.
Yes. So I'm like, damn it.
Well, listen, I really hope they don't kill you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I strive to be alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a real concern. You know, I mean, there were two guys that before I supported Trump and everything. There were two guys that traveled to Austin to kill me. I don't know if you know about this.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And two separate incidents. One guy thought I put a chip in his head, and I mean they're both basically two guys that were just very much had severe mental illness. It wasn't like they had like I disagree with him politically and that's why he needs to die. This was before I was before I got sort of smeared as being, you know, some sort of like Nazi or something like that. Before the propaganda wave, the severe propaganda wave, the probability that any given homicidal maniac is going to try to kill you is proportionate to how many times they hear your name. And so they heard my name a lot, so I just got to the top of the list of 2 homicidal maniacs who were arrested, and both were in Travis County Jail at the same time.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if they talked or whatever, but they've both been released, by the way.
Jesus
They're both
Christ.
released on bail, yeah. Right, but they got ankle monitors and stuff, but still.
They can cut those off.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, exactly. So,
That's crazy.
yeah, and the second guy had like chief serial killer in his bio on his X profile. Yeah, it's like wasn't subtle, is what I'm saying.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And at this point, I think I'm at the top of the list for a lot of homicidal maniacs.
And the more the mainstream media talks about you in this way,
Yes.
and says you're a Nazi, and
They're doing the same thing to me that they did to Trump,
yeah,
which is that they're making it sound like if you kill me, you're a hero. That's what they're doing is evil.
Man, that's a lot to go through, you know. Think of the words of Jimmy Dore when Tucker Carlson first got fired. He said, they don't fire you for lying. They fire you for telling the truth. And that's true just on so many different levels. I mean, this is a pretty high level, you know. The guy's just literally doing what the president asked. The president asks you to do something, you should probably do it. You know, if you're an honorable person, if you're a patriotic person, you're pretty much going to do what the president asks you to do, especially when it's, exposing waste, fraud, and abuse in the system, shrinking government back down to a manageable size, making sure the country doesn't go bankrupt. All the talking points that people have heard. It's just sad that this is that was legitimately sad. That was like, could you imagine one of your friends telling you that? Just hearing him say that, the Travis County, like, I know, buddy, Travis County. I know all about Travis County. That's close. I've probably walked by these guys before. These guys who tried to kill Elon Musk, like, wild stuff, man. Really, really wild stuff. It's interesting what they're willing to do. You see it with Trump. You see it with him now. I'm positive Joe Rogan has stories that he can tell. He probably just doesn't bring it up. He probably doesn't want to give any light to it. I bet he has some stories he could tell as well. Anyway, let's get into Elon Musk. He's talking a little bit about the death threats here. He's talking, this is the Elon Musk rally. This is more stuff on the rally. There's more stuff here. And this is Trump actually giving his take. Somebody actually asks him directly about the people who, are very riled up about Elon Musk. And then Asmund Gold speaks a little bit about the threats that are going on with Elon Musk, because Reddit is completely unhinged. I'm not even I'm not even going into Reddit. It's so unhinged. I don't understand how he doesn't get demonetized going into Reddit, but there's a little bit of his video that I'm going to show you, but let's start here.
The overall goal here with the DOGE team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt, now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here. And taking a lot of flack, and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I'd like to stack them up, But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done. Also, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect, but when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly. So, for example, with USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola, Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately, and there was no interruption. I think that email perhaps was best interpreted as a performance review, but actually it was a pulse check review. Do you have a pulse? Do you have a pulse and 2 neurons? So if you have a pulse and 2 neurons, you can reply to an email. We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well. But if the job is not essential, or they're not doing the job well, they obviously should not be on the public payroll.
Man, just think about, it's very interesting. Elon Musk is talking about this, but in the Rogan clips, it makes you think, even he, the richest person in the world, right? Trump's Illuminati representative, the one who talks to the lizard people for Trump, even he sits back and says, if I push too hard on it, that shows you how dirty politics could be. Even if I push too hard on it, they are definitely going to unalive me. That's wild. Even he can't just be like, I'm just going to do what I want. Even him. Man, it just makes you wonder what can actually be done at that point. He's basically saying at the end of the clip, I'm going to stop it as much as I can just to prevent the country from being bankrupt. So he's like, there's no way I'm going to try and stop it completely. That's just crazy. Whew, man, this is what's been going on currently. This is actually an event. This gentleman here, Channel 5, it's a YouTube channel. He was actually at the anti-Elon rally, and it gets pretty ridiculous in my mind. Especially, that's the reason I showed you the first clip, because you can hear Elon being very rational. The things that they're doing seem very needed, especially when you start actually naming off the things that they're going after. When you start naming off the things that they've stopped and canceled, you go, oh, this was pretty much useless. There's at least 100 things that I've heard since this has all started that were completely useless. Now, when I say that, I mean useless to American taxpayers. That's what I mean. So let's just jump over here. Another clip real quick where they're actually at the rally. What an unfair view that lady has. That's actually real. When you actually hear Elon breaking it down, and you can look into that stuff yourself as well to see if it's true. Would the country go bankrupt, et cetera, et cetera? You could look into all those talking points. It's just really unfair that she's just like, hire back everybody, reinstate USAID. But what about the things that are useless within it? You know, Elon Musk brings up something that was useful. Make sure that keeps going. Everybody who had a job involved with that still has a job, still involved with that. Money still flowing to that. But everything else, it almost falls under the term luxury beliefs. You know, people have these luxury beliefs. Like, she wants you to do that because it affects her none. If you just say, it's done, everybody's back, it doesn't affect her either way. She can go home, whether they're fired, go home, whether they're hired, and have the same type of day and night, you know? So she just wants what she wants. And there's a lot of people like that. They just kind of want what they want. But if the country actually did, you know, I don't know, just suffer recession, Great Depression type of things, you know, what then? You know, a lot of people who want to see these things reinstated and think that what they're doing is terrible, they don't really have any solutions. They just keep pointing to the fact that Elon Musk is rich and Donald Trump is rich. And just because of that fact, there's nothing they could possibly be doing that's good. And that's why I never ever subscribe to the notion that every rich person is terrible. I do not subscribe. I never have. I think it's crazy because I know rich people that are good people. I know a bunch that are good people. You know, if I become rich, I'm not going to suddenly become bad. So I just don't buy that. And this is a perfect example as why not to. Again, of course, Elon Musk, Neuralink, all that stuff. You got to watch that closely. But what you see him doing here, it's solid. It's solid. It's solid patriotic stuff. In my opinion, I don't know why they keep playing this ridiculous music. I moved on to this clip just to show you a little bit more of what has been going on. This was uploaded, you know, not even 10 hours ago. They've just been rallying heavily against Elon Musk. Now, they fired enough people that every single person could be a former employee. But they're not, you know, can't take that mindset. It's people who really feel like what they're doing is terrible. And I genuinely don't get it. I really don't get it. And this is even aside from, I really don't get people threatening, but I don't get the issue with this. Hasn't this been something that people have wanted for decades? Isn't this something people have wanted for the longest time? Oh, those, like, didn't people used to say fat cats? Oh, those fat cats in Washington. Somebody's putting the fat cats on a diet. Isn't that whatever? It's confusing to watch this type of stuff play out. I could have swore this is what people wanted. Let's move on to hear what President Trump has to say when confronted about it.
Today, I asked the president.
Americans voted for you on the immigration and the economy, but these voters say they're angry and frustrated by these firings. They don't like the work of Elon Musk and these other actions. What do you say to them?
Let me just tell you that I have today the highest poll numbers I've ever had. That's what I was just told. And they like the job that we're doing. They like the job that Elon's doing. He's doing something that a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do.
Earlier, the president hosting the nation's governors at the White House and calling out Maine for refusing to comply with his executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports.
So, I got to see the development that happened with that Maine governor. Like, they're going to go to court. It's just amazing what Trump did there. But, yeah, he has the courage. He's doing something that most people wouldn't do. And I mean, you know, everything that I've shown you, this is just the rallies and those type of people. This right here is the most deranged stuff. Here, you must respect Asmongold. You must respect him. Allow me, sir, Sir Asmongold. I will shrink my screen and I'll put it up here. Very unorthodox for me, but we have a legend in our midst today, ladies and gentlemen. Allow him to speak uninterrupted.
Comment 19 hours ago. And you can even see the post right here. If everybody's waiting on Monday, so this is a post here. Clubhouse participants only. Waiting on, if everybody's waiting on Monday to file lawsuits. No mercy. If all these are confirmed, I say drag their names. I would bet Elon is there. These are people that are advocating for doxing and political violence. This, in my opinion, needs to be stopped. This needs to be stopped before it gets worse. And that's what's going to happen. I want to let these people know that when you do this, the other people that are on the other side are going to do this to you. They are. They're going to do this to you and you're not going to like it. Because they're the ones that are going to have, that maybe they're actually going to do. I disagree. Oh, do you think like this is it? Yeah, tit for tat. Yeah, this is going to keep going. They already do. No, you're not like this. Absolutely not. And so I don't think this breaks the First Amendment. The Second Amendment is going to give people the ability to commit violence against people and protects the First Amendment. That only implies the First Amendment is meant to organize for the purpose of violence in the first place. I want you to just say it right now. You think that it is your First Amendment right to make a call to kill a government employee? Just say yes or no. Very simple yes or no question. Is that a First Amendment right or not? We got to get a Pepsi. No.
He's talking.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
To one of the audience members.
What are we doing? Yeah, obviously not, right? Obviously, right? So, like, what are you typing about? We need our politicians, especially Trump, to stop with the us versus them rhetoric? No, rhetoric isn't a problem. The words are the problem. Rights are a difficult subject and should be handled through the Supreme Court in Austin. It's the Supreme Court system. It's very messy these days.
So basically, in this video, and you can see it right here, actually, Pink missed them all. That's somebody on Reddit saying that that's what should happen to Elon Musk. They're saying that you should be able to do that. If you don't know what the pink mist is, I mean, it's what happens to someone when there's enough force brought to them. I don't know how to say it without exciting the powers that be. But that's what they're saying. They're saying all sorts of stuff. In this video, he shows the fact that people are calling for their addresses, the DOGE members. They're trying to come after them. They want to know where they live. They want to know who they're calling for just straight up violence against Elon Musk and all of these people. It's the most wild thing. In fact, I know this screen looks crazy that he has here. It's all just comment after comment. He's just pulling up all these wild Reddit comments and threads where people are just discussing exactly what Elon Musk was talking about. This is the stuff Elon Musk mentions it in the Joe Rogan clip. He says, they say it online. He sees the Reddit threads where they're talking about stuff like this, and it gets way worse. I can't even play most of what he was saying. I don't know why he can play this and I can't for some reason, but that's the way it is right now for some reason. Couldn't explain it to you. But yeah, it's wild. It's wild. All because this guy decided to buy a social media platform, let the right and the left just have it out if they need to, let everybody be heard for the most part. I know there's little censors here and there that he himself, I could see that he's done. So I won't paint him like he's an angel or anything. But for the most part, you guys understand. The Twitter files revealed a lot. It made us understand how it all works, right? And it verified. A lot of us knew how it all worked, but it verified. And the fact that he's just running DOGE and he's just doing what the president said is having people go after him like this. It's gross. It's gross, but very intense between Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. You can tell he is truly stressed. He's not handling it the way Trump handles it. Trump, you wouldn't even know it. He's just like, I don't know, maybe. Anyway, poll numbers are great. It just doesn't even touch him. Doesn't even pierce into him, into his emotional structure. Nothing. He's different. He's built different. Elon Musk is having a little bit of trouble handling it. And I could understand completely, Anyways, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. It helps the channel tremendously, especially right now. Need your help with that. Please, please, please. And other than that, I'm out.